Thank you for joining us for our first virtual candlelit Labyrinth walk and winter solstice celebration. We are marking together the longest night of the year and the beginning of the winter season. To start, I want to thank the members of MILC's, the Manitou Intentional Learning Community, the Labyrinth Subcommittee, for helping us with the production of this event. Marilyn Boileau from Grace United will be our designated walker. Faye Moffat, Music Director at Trinity United in Cape Breol, will provide music during the walk. Susan Martin from St. Peter's will provide a reading. And me, Amy Hallman-Grout, I will provide some instructions and a meditation to ponder as we walk together. Also, Doug Hallman from St. Peter's is helping with the video recording and setup. Thanks to all. And a note before we begin, all the music performed by Faye tonight is either in the public domain or covered under one license A718636. I thought I'd start with some planetary news. I'm sure you've heard. Since the winter solstice is a planetary event dealing with darkness and light, I thought we might mention another coinciding planetary event on that day, December 21st. They're calling it a great conjunction of Jupiter and Saturn in the nighttime sky. The planets are the closest to one another that they have been since 1623. The combination of light that we will see from both planets has led many to call it an early Christmas star. So if you do this walk on the actual solstice, you may want to have a look to the southwest horizon outside, either before or after, to witness this example of light in the midst of darkness. Before we begin, make sure you have your finger labyrinth ready for following along with Marilyn. If you don't have one, please find the instructions I posted on St. Peter's United Church Sudbury YouTube channel back in May. These are very easy to make. You can go make one and start the video again if you like, or you could find a circuit in your house to walk around meditatively at the same pace as Marilyn walks, or you may just like to watch in silence. And now we have a reading from Susan.
A celebration of winter solstice. There is a tendency to want to hurry from autumn to spring, to avoid the long, dark days that winter brings. Many people do not like constant days, bereft of light, and months filled with colder temperatures. They struggle with the bleakness of land and the emptiness of trees. Their eyes and hearts seek color. Their spirits tire of tasting the endless gray skies. There is great rejoicing in the thought that light and warmth will soon be filling more and more of each new day. But winter darkness has a positive side to it. As we gather to celebrate the first turn from winter to spring, we are invited to recognize and honor the beauty in the often unwanted season of winter. Let us invite our hearts to be glad for the courage winter proclaims. Let us be grateful for the wisdom winter brings in teaching us about the need for withdrawal as an essential part of renewal. Let us also encourage our spirits as earth prepares to come forth from this time of withdrawal into a season filled with light. The winter solstice celebrates the return of hope to our land as our planet experiences the first slow turn toward greater daylight. Soon we will welcome the return of the sun and the coming of springtime. As we do so, let us remember and embrace the positive, enriching aspects of winter's darkness. Pause now to sit in silence in the darkness of this space. Let the space be a safe enclosure of creative gestation for you. This is an abbreviated version, excerpt from A Celebration of Winter Solstice from The Circle of Life by Joyce Rupp and Macrina Whitaker.
I love the theme of creative withdrawal from Susan's reading. At St. Peter's, we traditionally move inside for our winter labyrinth walks, using our canvas labyrinth rather than the outdoor version at Lourdes Grotto. Walking the labyrinth inside a safe haven while it's cold and stormy outside can mimic having a calm heart in the midst of outer chaotic circumstances. Some call this ability resiliency. It's the practice of meeting life's challenges and stress with openness and softness so that these circumstances don't shatter us. If we cultivate a strong heart through some kind of spiritual practice, we can teach ourselves to respond rather than react in our habitual ways to things that upset us, annoy us, or seriously challenge us. This doesn't mean that we won't get upset, rather that we won't constantly carry these temporary upsets with us and define ourselves or others by them. This seems especially important to remember around the potentially stressful and emotional time of Christmas. It can be tempting to think that tuning out is the answer to stress. But as Meister Eckhart says, spirituality is not to be learned by flight from the world or by running away from things, or by turning solitary and going apart from the world. Rather, we must learn an inner solitude whenever or with whomever we may be. We must learn to penetrate things and find God there. But when we do go inward and look into what lies in our hearts this winter season, we must also not expect to find only good feelings, calm, and happiness. We are complex creatures with conflicting emotions and impulses, and part of resiliency is learning to live with ourselves the way that we are. Rainer Maria Rilke says in a Letters to a Young Poet, "Have patience with everything that remains unsolved in your heart. Live in the question." So perhaps we can check in with our hearts during this walk and bring some kindness to them. Now, before Marilyn begins and you begin with your finger labyrinth, just some general instructions that we've put together for the walking of a labyrinth. So at the entrance, perhaps invite the guidance of the Spirit in your walk. Some people like to offer a concrete prayer for guidance or help. Some simply set their intention and intend to be open to whatever the gift the walk will give. On the walk in, don't force anything. Walk with awareness of your feet, of sounds and sights, of feelings. You don't need to follow those things and get involved with them, or lost in the story they might tell. Just notice and let go. Be here. Then, while at the center, rest for a time in God's presence. In the gift of having reached the center, you may wish to face the four directions, to be still, to be grateful, to listen. When the time is right, begin the path out. And on the way out, again, enjoy the walk. If a thought or guidance comes to you, be grateful. If this is just the first time this week you have slowed down to do nothing but be and walk, just be and walk. It's a sacred gift. And at the end, take a moment to give thanks for the walk, for the gift of it, for the fruit of it that may not come today, but at some moment when you need it.
Bless you all as you head into this winter season. To send us forth, we will end with a poem by Wendell Berry. To know the dark, to go in the dark with a light is to know the light. To know the dark, go dark. Go without sight, and find that the dark too blooms and sings, and is traveled by dark feet and dark wings.